Hello everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to use Riemann sums in conjunction with some real-world data. Now what I have here is some data from Toyota. Now they gave me the sale of new Scion XBs by year from 2003 until 2015. Now my goal today is to estimate the total number of sales of these new Scion XBs between those years. Now in reality, I don't really need to use Riemann sums to calculate the total number of sales. They give me every year, so I could just add them all up. But here's the thing. With real data, we don't always have every single bit of information we need. And so sometimes we have to extrapolate a little bit and try to guess the values in between. And this will be a good place we could use Riemann sums. So like I said, I know what the total sales is, but I'm going to try to give a good estimate using Riemann sums. So the first thing I always like to do with Riemann sums is try to sketch a bit of a picture so I have a better idea of what I'm looking at. Now, I'm going to try to use 4 subintervals, which means 4 different rectangles. So, in order to do that, I need to figure out how to break up my data and make it 4 different rectangles. Now, I'm going to count up how many different pieces of data I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now, I've got 13 pieces of data, 13 years. So, if I want to have 4 subintervals, I'm going to divide 13 by 4. You get right about 3. So that's what I'm going to do, is about every 3 years I'm going to start a new rectangle. So I'm going to start at 2003 and come down to 2006. So that's 1, 2, 3 years. Then 2006 will be my overlap year. That's going to be where I start my new rectangle. Then I'm going to come 1, 2, 3. 2009 is going to be my overlap year. That's where I'm going to start my next rectangle. 1, 2, 3 puts me at 2012 is going to be my overlap year, and that should take me all the way down to 2015. So, those are where my numbers are going to start. I'm going to start at 2003, then I'm going to go to 2006, 2009 comes next, 2012 is last, and of course 2015 is actually the last year that I'm going to use, but since I'm using 4 rectangles, those are going to be the rectangles, from 2003 to 2006, from 2006 to 2009, from 2009 to 2012, 2012 to 2015. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do 2 different Riemann sums in this case. I'm going to do a left Riemann sum and a right Riemann sum. Now, if I'm doing a left Riemann sum, I'm going to use the number in this rectangle that's farthest to the left. So if I'm looking at 2003 to 2006, I'm going to use the 2003. So, 2003, they had about 7,000 sales. Now, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it in my picture. It doesn't have to be perfect. So let me come over here. I'm going to draw myself a little rectangle. It's kind of short. So 6,936 is how many sales they had in 2003. All right. Next rectangle, 2006 to 2009. Again, using the left Riemann sum. So I'm going to use the left number, which is 2006. They jumped way up and had 61,306. So I'm going to draw myself a big, tall rectangle at 61,306. All right, 2009 to 2012, I'm going to look at 2009. They dropped down about halfway. That's 25,461. All right, and then 2012 to 2015, I'm using the 2012 number. They went down a little bit, not too much, to 19,789. All right, now that I have myself a little bit of a picture, I kind of know what is happening to the sales during these years, and I can give myself a good estimate. So here we go. I'm going to figure out what the width of these rectangles are, and then I'm going to multiply it by the height. Now, I've labeled the height on my nice little picture, so I've got that part. So now I just need to figure out the width. This, in this case, is a regular Riemann sum because notice they're all spaced equally apart. They're all the same width rectangles. Now, from 2003 to 2006, that's 3 years. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to look at my Riemann sum here for a second. So, that's my Riemann sum formula. It says, if I start with the first rectangle and go to my nth rectangle, which in this case is 4, I'm going to find the height of the rectangle and multiply it by the width of the rectangle. Now notice delta x is just representing the width, and f of x is representing the height. So, here we go. I'm going to take the width, which is 3 years times the height, which is 6,936. That's my first rectangle. But I got to do it for all 4. So we're going to keep going. The next rectangle is 3 wide and 61,306 tall. Go ahead and do the next one. 3 wide, 25,461 tall. Last one. 3 wide, 19,789 tall. So all I got to do is grab my handy dandy little calculator, plug it all in. So 3 times 6,936 plus 3 times 61,306 plus 3 times 25,461 plus 3 times 19,789. That gives me a final answer of 340,376. Now that's a pretty darn good estimate. It's a little low. I know that for a fact because yes, I did add them all up and figure out what the actual answer is. But that's a pretty good estimate. So we said we were going to do 2 different Riemann sums. That's the left sum. Now I'm going to do the right sum. So I'm going to still keep these same years up here because I don't need to change how many subintervals I have. I wanted to just do 4 subintervals. So what I'm going to do is just, instead of looking at the left number, 2003, 2006, 2009, 2012, I'm going to look at the right number. So if I'm looking between 2003 and 2006, 2006 is going to be my anchor point here. It's going to be the number I use as my height. So let me kind of erase this real fast and we'll make a quick adjustment. So, like I said, for the right Riemann sum, we're using the right number. So 2003 to 2006, I'm using the 2006. That's the number on the right. So 61,306, again, that's my height. So that's going to be way up. All right. Then I'm going from 2006 to 2009. I'm using the number on the right, which is the 2009. Again, that was that halfway drop. And we've got 25,461. All right, now I'm going to use another one. 2009 to 2012, I'm going to use the 2012 at 19,789. And then from 2012 to 2015, I'm using the 2015 number. That's 15,223. Again, not a big drop. All right, so same process here. The only difference, I use the right year for the interval instead of the left year for the interval. So, same width, 3 each. 2003, 2006 is 3 years. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 3 years and multiply it by the number of sales. So I'm going to do it in a different color here real fast. I'm going to do it in this blue. So we're going to do 3 times 61,306 plus 3, which is my width, times 25,461, I'm going to switch sides here, plus 3 times 19,789, plus 3 times 15,223. Again, go into my handy dandy little calculator. 3 times 61,306, plus 3 times 25,461, plus 3 times 19,789, plus 3 times 50,223 gives me a whopping 365,337. Now, sadly, knowing the real truth, that is also an underestimate. So the question you're going to ask me now is, Mr. Harold, how do I get a better estimate? Those are underestimates. How do I get a better one? Well, the way we get a better answer is we start using more subintervals. Now, I'm going to do that in the next video. I'm going to use this same data, having more subintervals, and I'm going to try to see if I can get a better estimate.